Hello, and welcome to the Lenovo Work Reborn podcast, where we explore how technology, AI, and cybersecurity are reshaping the way we work. This segment of our tour, we are back at it again, live in London, interviewing top IT leaders. Each episode, we're going to bring you insights from real leaders and industry experts on how organizations can navigate today's challenges and unlock tomorrow's opportunities. From making sense of complex data, to simplifying IT environments, to delivering real business outcomes, Lenovo is helping businesses of every size reimagine what's possible. Join us as we dive into the future of work. Work Reborn. Let's go. Hello and welcome to the Work Reborn podcast. My name is Rita, your host, and I'm joined here with my new friend, Mark. Mark, how are you?
Fine, thanks. How's it going?
It's going great. Thank you so much. So, Mark, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about the industry that you work in and how you got into the field? I heard that you are a GRC Director, just like in a government sector. So, yeah, tell me a little bit about the work that you do in general.
So I was originally an engineer many years ago, so I've come from the technical side. And I worked for a long time kind of outside of government as a contractor. And kind of, I've been about 20 years or so outside, and I always decided that the end of my career would be trying to give back. And so to kind of come in from the fold and try and give my expertise to a government department in some way, shape or form. So I had the opportunity to come across to work in education, which is quite close to my heart. One of the things I originally thought I might be was a teacher.
Yeah.
And, I think it's quite a noble mission trying to protect the data of kids and help them kind of get on their path towards a successful career themselves.
That is a noble path, and as a former teacher myself, it's something I also enjoy too. And I don't know how I ended up in podcasting, but but I guess there's this back and forth of relationship that's important too. So thank you for your time and your expertise. We did a report recently where we interviewed over 600 senior IT leaders about various topics that are important to this space right now: cybersecurity, AI, and the like. There was a really big focus on security on this report and this series that we've done. And we had some interesting feedback, and one of which is that only 12% of the survey respondents said that automation would reduce IT headcount. Most of the respondents actually said it would shift teams to a higher value work rather than the negative of, just reducing headcount. So what impact overall has automation had, or do you think is having in the industry overall in the IT team capacity?
So for quite a long time, IT budgets have been kind of set by what the company could spare for IT. It's not always been looked on as a business investment. So I'd say since really the financial crisis in 2008, you've had IT teams getting smaller and smaller, having less budget and being asked to do more with less. And of course, the IT manager or the security manager, we all have to turn around and make compromises. So we've been paring down what we would like to do to what the bare minimum of what we think we can do to get by and still deliver, and in security's case, safeguard the information for the company or for the government department. And what's happening with automation is that's allowing us to remove some of the more repetitive work, which takes up a lot of time, depending on what it is. Take reviewing log files and stuff like that. Always had to be done manually previously. With the introduction of SIEM tools and stuff like that, it made the analysis of logs and alerting from that took a lot less time, and you could actually focus on the problems that you were seeing rather than trawling through the logs. So your team's not going to get any bigger.
Because it's already small. Because
it's already as small as it can be. But what it is that you're finally able to deliver the service that you want to deliver, and you can start to focus the resources. I've often said that we've gone down from a case where we're going out and preventing fires to where we're literally just running from house to house trying to put fires out. And what automation's trying to do is to get us a little further ahead. It's putting a sprinkler system in each one, so
making sure the houses are not built out of wood.
Well, yes, that would also help. But yeah, it's meaning that we can do other work that is I wouldn't say more important, but it's more targeted to get us ahead of the problems that are occurring.
Yeah, I think, as I've been talking to people, it seems like that is a huge priority, is educating the general masses on what AI can or can't do in order to be ready and aware before those problems arise. We were chatting a little bit off camera, and you mentioned how it seems like we're throwing around the word AI,
Yes.
but there's not really a lot of clarity on exactly what or how that means in application, right?
Yeah, I mean, people are, so every vendor at the moment is saying there's now AI in our product. But what exactly is that AI doing? Is it delivering value to what you're actually trying to achieve with the product? So let's take the example of, again, a SEAM tool. Is AI looking at the alerts and looking at the severity and, automatically doing some responses so that you don't have to intervene, within certain guide rails? Or is AI just a chat bot or something like that? And the problem is they're both called the same thing.
Right.
So people are lending them the same governance requirements and credence, even though the actual effect of what the AI is doing, the impact, it can be quite widely different.
I would love to just tie that into, the future of where work is going, right? So there will come a time where people are going to understand what all this is eventually,
Yep.
hopefully. And I think it'll forever change what workplaces look like. It'll bring maybe new life to the workplace, modernize it, or a rebirth of what that is going to occur. So what does work reborn mean to you?
Well, there's a few things that I definitely hope that AI can solve for myself. I'm often telling people I have a memory like a sieve. So people, I go to a lot of meetings and people give me information, and then, I'll write down a note and I'll go, right, I really need to look into this or do that. And then I go to the next meeting and that's gone. So to me, AI being able to help me organize, being able to help me collate and present information, almost providing me with a digital assistant so that I'm not spending time doing the mechanics of the work I need to do to display information or collate information to give a report, but I'm actually able to deliver that report and spend more time thinking and reviewing the information, deciding, what direction's best to go. So I think from my mind, the future workplace, the AI is kind of like a partner.
Yes.
It's not so much I don't want to use the word assistant because that's not really what you're asking it to do. You're asking it to help you to deliver what your work is for your organization. So it should be your partner, I think, in the future workplace, allowing you to do more as well. Because when you think about it, we're at work, 40 hours a week. How many of those hours a week are we trawling through our emails trying to get something done? How long are we actually working on things that make a difference?
Right. Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me on this conversation. I really enjoyed your insights. If anyone is interested in learning more about some of the research findings that we talked about today in the Work Reborn report, make sure you download it via the QR code somewhere on the screen here. You can scan. Or if you're listening to the podcast, check out the show notes in the description below. There will be a link available for you there. And that's a wrap, Mark. I appreciate your time. Thank you for listening to the Lenovo Work Reborn podcast. To learn more about how Lenovo is helping organizations transform with AI, cybersecurity, and smarter IT solutions, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next conversation. And also, we'd love to hear from you. Make sure to leave a comment with any other questions that you would like us to discuss on our next episodes. See you next time. Lenovo.